I'm with Margate captain Ben Greenhalgh after Margate's 3-1 defeat to Tonbridge Angels. Ben, a frustrating afternoon for the boys?
Yeah, it was frustrating. There's a lot of things that we know we need to get right. And to be brutally honest, it's probably a good time for that to happen. We're 3 weeks away from the season. If we'd have gone sort of high flying into the season, winning every game and all been on top form, if we'd suddenly gone 1-0 down against a team, we wouldn't have ever experienced it. So it's something that we know what happens in certain situations, something that we need to work on. And I think we just take today on the chin and we just keep moving on. It is pre-season and we've still got 3 weeks to go.
We spoke to Andy after the game as well, and he said actually when he was at Gravesend before, he lost every pre-season game and as a player, and then they went and won their opening 10. So it doesn't really matter, does it? Pre-season results.
No, it doesn't. I mean, even if you look at us last year, I don't think we won a game until Ramsgate, and we started the season well. We got 7 points in our first 3 games. So pre-season is just a reader on what we can do as a squad, what we can do as a club, and obviously we've got new players, so it's finding out a lot about them as well, and finding them out in their positives, finding them out in their negatives, how they react and how they react in the next game as well.
And of course, Andy spoke about the style of play that he wants to implement. How are you finding it so far? Obviously, we've had some really good performances. Maybe not so good today, but it seems to be gelling a little bit.
Yeah, it's there. Even today, I think I was just saying in the change room there, first half, we probably had half of the first half where we looked unbelievable, but the other half we were quite a way off it. So it was just an inconsistency, which was the frustrating thing. But it's definitely there. We've shown good patterns, we've shown good styles of play, and we've actually attacked quite a lot. We probably haven't been good enough in the final third just yet, but when it comes to the season, I'm sure it's going to be different. And I think it's good. And at the same time, we've got the experience in the team, and Andy said exactly the same thing. He's not saying absolutely play. When it's not on to play, he knows he's played a level before. He's played obviously a lot higher as well, so he knows what you've got to do, especially when you go to away to certain teams. I think we're sort of on that wavelength, and that's something that we're implementing throughout pre-season, where we're trying to do it, we're trying to get it right, and then obviously come the season, it's not going to be Barcelona sort of thing, but we are going to try and play as much as we can.
Absolutely, and obviously a big 2 games coming up now. Obviously we want to bounce back from today. Ashford on Tuesday night, but it won't go without a mention. Obviously Ramsgate here next Saturday, the Isle of Thanet Cup. You've been here now for a couple of seasons. You know what it means to the fans. Is it one as a captain now that you'll be sort of getting into the new boys about? Yeah,
definitely. It's the same as what people were like to us last year, and Jay was like it with us last year. He was saying to me, this is massive, whether it's massive for you boys or not. He knows that it was just pre-season, but it's massive for the fans. So we bought into that. We turned up. There was a lot of fans there at Ramsgate, and obviously we had our good away support like we normally do. And I think that got us going. And like I said, from last year, that was probably felt like our first main game, and that got the most out of us, and it got the most out of me as well. So I think we need something like that, where it's actually, this is a proper test. I know these are tests against higher teams, but when there's not something on the line, it's always hard to implement the way that you want to play. So next week, boys will all know it's a big one. There's a trophy to play for, even if the trophy is just the Isle of Thanet Cup and you're always in the cup final. It's definitely something that we're going to put in a performance and treat it like our first league game.
And on a personal note, Ben, obviously he was named captain in the summer by Andy. How are you finding the role? Is it something you're enjoying? Is it trying to still find that balance between being captain and making a difference out on the pitch?
Yeah, it's good. It's gone well so far. I think the biggest thing that I'm trying to work from as being a captain is to the younger players, because obviously I've been in that position myself, and at the same time where I'm coaching the academy boys as well, I know what sort of they need a little bit more help, they need a little bit more advice. They're new to the level, so we have to make sure that we're positive with them, and after a game, if you give them a little bit of stick in a game, then after the game we'll have a chat and we'll say, look, this is what you could be doing. And so far every one of them have bought into it. I've had quite a few of them messaging me asking certain things in certain positions, and that's something I'm just happy to offer advice. And hopefully, I think that's where we're strong this year. We've got a lot of players that want to learn, and that are eager and they're hungry. Today it didn't quite work out, but then there's boys that are going to be on the bench that are hungry to get on and take their position. So I think we've got a good vibe. Today was the first time where we've probably been knocked down a level. I know we lost against Fulham, but we probably weren't at our strongest, and it's a different type of game when you play against full-time younger players. It doesn't really feel like a league game. But today's probably the first little bit of a negative where we have to just bounce back from and learn from it.
Absolutely, and just finally, Ben, Andy was saying exactly that actually today was the first time it's sort of been knocked back a bit. As a player, does that sort of spur you on? Is that almost what we need sometimes?
It's what we need, because I think we've got to learn. Like I said at the beginning, if we'd have gone into the season, everybody on absolute form, scoring goals, creating chances, then you don't know what they're like when it's going wrong. So now, I think it's also as a player, sometimes I quite like to, individually, if I was to have a bad game, I know where my standards are then at, and I know where I need to get back to. So that's something where players are going to know they're being pushed from other players. There's going to be a lot of competition for places, and I think now it gives Andy also a chance to maybe go, well, this didn't quite work, we'll try this, and we've got the options to do that. So it's definitely, I think we can turn that into a positive, and we can really try and react from that. And like we said, we're 3 weeks to go, so I think it's a good timing for something like that to happen, and hopefully we can build on it for August the 13th.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Unlucky today, Ben.
No worries. Thank you.